So, what effect has it had on your life?
It's like, it was my 40s. I mean, gosh, that's a tough question. I mean, we studied with some of the same teachers, and for me, this was really a way to sort of boil down the essential teachings really of Tibetan Buddhism and also yoga, and try to share them with people. So gave me a chance to cook it and also, really share it. The person I was could not have completed this picture, so it was also kind of a challenge for me to do something, like this. That's a tough question. I mean, that's short answer. Yeah. Anybody else? That's it. Yes.
Could you talk a little bit about the music and how that was composed for the film?
Oh yeah, that was just that's so. I had one musician, Michael Hewitt, whose stuff is his guitar stuff is fantastic. A lot of his music is in the movie.
Mark.
Yeah, Michael Hewitt, not
wasn't Mark Killian?
Mark Killian is another composer on the picture. So Michael's stuff is fantastic, and he said I could use some things from his catalog, and it was nice, but it wasn't really composed for cinema. So I had a neighbor, Mark Killian. He lived across the alley from me in Venice, and he scored Sozi and a lot of big films. I think he's the only composer that I want to say John Carpenter ever had score for him. And I would see him all the time, and I said, Mark, I want your music for my movie, but I can't afford you. So I'll buy you a drink. And so I bought him drinks for like 3 years. And I said, by the way, I did a temp score of my film to your music, and it's amazing, but I'm never going to be able to afford you, so here's a drink. And then I ran into him in the grocery store, and he said, how's this going? I said, Mark, it's going great, but I fell in love with your score, and now I can't use it, and I'm kind of bummed. The movie's not really coming together without your music. And he said, well, let me look at my catalog. We'll see what I own, and whatever I own, you can use for $1. Wow, fantastic, right? So he sent me the list of songs, and it was exactly what I had scored the picture to.
Wow.
So the soundtrack took 2 years basically. It really just happened, and I think it worked amazingly for the picture. I knew I was on the right track. Where there's the scene where she breaks down on the motorcycle, and for a moment she tries to blip the throttle, and I laid one of Mark's songs in at the head of the picture, and I just let it play. And when it comes time and she blips the throttle, the strings go din-din-din-din. I was like, wow, it's like he composed it for my picture, and he did it. And then, a couple seconds later, she blips the throttle again, the strings are right there. Din-din-din-din. So, it just kind of came together. Buying drinks.
I thought it worked really well.
Thanks. I mean, it's really, it's really a shame because we have a beautiful 5.1 mix, and it really comes alive, and the music is a lot of it's in those speakers that we didn't have tonight. So, you have to see it again. And I want to thank Chris because I wrote a lot of the script at his house actually. Yeah, in Fort Lauderdale. Yeah, like insane writing sessions there. Thank you. Yes.
I think I've ever asked you, how did you, come across the book, and what was the inspiration to turn that into a movie?
The book, a teacher I was studying with wrote it. Actually, it's called How Yoga Works, and I was kind of turned my back on the whole film world. I was kind of over it, and I read the book and I thought this would make it incredible. It was obviously would make an incredible movie, but it was also 600 pages and it goes through like almost all of the Yoga Sutras line by line. I thought, this is going to be difficult. And the book actually takes place in India about 1,000 years ago. And Friday, the girl, she's actually traveling from Tibet to India looking for a guru. And when she crosses the border into India, the Indian sort of border guards say, "What is a young girl with you doing with a book at all?" But I thought there's no way I'm going to shoot a period piece in India. My first teacher. Yeah. So, someone over here, Charlie.
Yeah. Any interest in distribution?
Yeah. I was really trying to do all the distribution myself. I made a deal with this company, Tug, who hosted our screening tonight. And thank you very much, Tug, if you're listening to this, I really appreciate it. But their model isn't really working for me, so now I'm starting to explore other options. I might still do the VOD, the video on demand myself, but I'm looking for help with that. So, yeah.
How scripted was the dialogue in the teaching scenes? Martial arts, yoga?
That was 100% improv. Yeah, I mean, we know what happened was, and it wasn't going to all be Japan. Like I took the whole novel and I adapted the whole novel into a screenplay, and then I went through and I just started cutting and cutting and cutting, and I realized, I mean, and the novel's fantastic. If you're interested in this sort of thing, I really encourage you to read it. But I mean, there's so many really big and really deep ideas in the book, and I thought, oh my God, I can maybe get two on screen, really maybe two, and the idea of emptiness is sort of fundamental. So all the stuff in the prison we shot basically in 1 week, and that's 99% from the book, basically, the dialogue and the situations. And then I was originally in my script, I had them, Friday and her teacher, my character, flashing back to different times all over the world. So you see them in Ireland 500 years ago, you see them in Japan, and then all over the place. But some of that stuff wasn't really working, and the Japan stuff was working, I thought was working pretty well. But that's all 100%. I mean, I'll tell you, so I took a friend of mine to shoot the camera for the martial arts scenes in Miyajima. And, we had very minimal budget. I called him on a Sunday. I said, can you go to Japan on Tuesday, and I'll bring the camera, and that's how it happened. So we rented this ryokan. It's like, was $2,000 a night. I said, this is going to be cheaper than building a Japanese looking set. We crashed there. The next morning we set up to film, and it's martial arts scenes, and my buddy says to me, Zorie, I need a shot list. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, I called you on Sunday. It's Wednesday. We're in Japan. At least shot list. He says, look, man, it's really not professional. And I said, look, here's what we're going to do, Mr. Professional. We're going to put the camera here. When I say action, you're going to push the red button. And, and it was still really, I mean, it's 100% improv, and a lot of fun. And it's really same with the scene where she disarms the guy with the gun. I mean, we didn't even do a rehearsal, basically. So, yeah, so all improv, and which made it really challenging when it came time to edit the film, because I was trying to step away from it a little bit, but it was really impossible to just hand it off to an editor, because 50% of the film was only in my head. So that was a long that was a long process. That added years to the film. I mean, to getting it done. Yeah. So, Armando, any questions?
No.
It's great to see you.
But I did like the Ducati scene.
Oh, cool. Excellent.
Take it apart, baby.
Yeah. So, yes, Judy. Hi.
I know it was a long process of making the film. Do you feel that you made the film that you wanted to make?
Yeah, pretty. I mean, surprisingly so. Yeah, I do. I don't know how it happened. I mean, it's been such a long process. And Judy actually was very helpful, and she was there for a lot of it. Judy was my line producer, and she really stuck with me, through some just difficult times. Yeah, no, I'm actually happy with it. I mean, it came out better than I expected. Yeah. Yes.
How has your understandings of the teachings change your original intention from the beginning? Because a lot must have gone on in those 10 years. Or anyone's practice is naturally going to evolve over that time.
Yeah. Gosh, I mean, I also, I didn't want to make a movie in India because a period piece in India, because I thought, my God, I don't know what's going to happen with my budget, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to get the sets back again. And I also had no idea how long it was going to take me to finish the film. So I really tried to make something that was, I mean, for lack of a better term, timeless. So I tried to really keep to the core of what I had learned about these sort of ideas. And as you know, I'm sure as you know from your own practice that, it's like chess in a way. I mean, you can learn in an afternoon, but it just gets deeper and deeper and deeper. So, You know, I mean, over 10 years, I've just more and more convinced that the basic teachings of worldview, which is that that things are a projection from your mind based on how you treat others, I think is true. I buy it. So I find it to be true in my life even more so.
There's nothing you look back on and went, oh, I shouldn't really have said that. Oh, I shouldn't have written that.
No, not really. You know, because I cut those things out.
You just finished the edit the other day.
I don't know. I honestly never finished the edit. I was editing. I mean, you can ask Fumi. I was editing last night.
Right.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that edit didn't burn properly. So you saw the edit from 2 days ago. Yeah. No, I mean, that's you know, I need another project or I'm gonna go nuts.
Amazing, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Dan. Anybody else? Oh, yes. Lucky.
Yeah, Pantangeli.
Yes.
I have heard of him.
Are you thinking about the guy from The Godfather who
No,
dimes
I'm
on
talking
them? Or
about-
are you thinking about the?
I'm talking about the guru.
Yes.
Pantangeli.
Yes.
Okay, how did it apply to this movie?
How did it apply to this movie?
Yeah. What was the name of the book that you were talking about? Because I was doing.
Oh, the Yoga Sutra.
That was called the Yoga Sutra?
Oh no, you mean the book that I adapted to make the film?
Yeah.
That's called How Yoga Works.
How yoga works.
Yeah, How Yoga Works is a novel that sort of takes you through a story about this young lady who's wrongly imprisoned, and she shares really the lessons of. She unpacks the Patanjali Yoga Sutra for this sort of crusty old police captain.
And what about Pantangeli? Because
He is who the Yoga Sutra is attributed to. They say he's the quote author of the Yoga Sutra.
he's the author
The,
of what?
the Yoga Sutra. Anybody else? Yes, Armando.
So, sorry, what was the
Do I need the microphone? It's fun.
what was the imagery that you were doing with the Holy Bible and the juxtaposition?
Oh, you know, that's kind of goes back to what Darren said. That's one thing that's changed a little bit. Is that, you know, when I started doing this, yoga wasn't as. I mean, I think there were maybe 1/2 to 1/3 to. There are not as many people in the country doing yoga, and I think, unless I'm mistaken, I think Sarah. Well, this is a little too personal, but there was a very different attitude towards yoga in the States. At least I perceived, and you know, I thought that a lot of sort of hardcore, what's that, Westboro Baptist Church people see yoga as kind of like from the devil. You know, I mean, you know, literally. And I wanted to show that this guy was putting his faith in a holy book, right? Because he's already got the Bible there, so he's put that's you know, you pray to the Bible, you're putting your faith in a book, right? And he's just starting to put his faith into another book, just not from our culture, right? From you know, Indian culture. So that's kind of what I was saying, showing these two cultures coming together, you know, just being a little, you know, pretty literal with the symbolism.
I liked it.
Thank you. Thank you. Cool. Yes.
How yoga works, I'm guessing, not having read the book, it has no Aikido in it at all.
That's true, yes.
And so how do you just took some of the teachings that are in both places and demonstrated with Aikido? Was that the idea? Or?
Yeah, you know, I mean, obviously, and you know, I practice with you, you know, I'm a big fan of Aikido. And, you know, why not put it in a movie? You know, I mean, I think, you know, it's, I wanted to get some more action in there, you know, so that's why. Because I could. Yeah. Wait, excuse me, but also, but you know, the teachings are very similar, I think. You know, if you get to the, you know, some of the core philosophy of yoga, it's ahimsa. You know, it's not non-harming, really. I mean, you know, if you're hurting people doing your Aikido practice, you're not practicing right? I mean, so that's one of that's the first thing you learn in yoga. Don't harm others, right? So, Cruz?
Yeah, I took that as when she was saying I've had 6 yogis. I'm new to yogas, but 6 yogas. I just thought Aikido was like a demonstration of like yoga can be a different practice,
Yeah.
discipline, whatever connects you with, you know, frees your mind.
Yeah.
That's how I saw it. So
That's what I was trying to do. And I was being a little flip there. I mean, there's a famous Indian guru named Master Naropa, and 6 yogas of Naropa, right? Yeah. And he's famous for 6 different yoga practices. So I was kind of riffing on that in a modern way. It's not a sort of a one-to-one thing. His 6 yogas are very esoteric and specific. But I was trying to say that, the most important thing here is that, what connects you with your higher self? That's
The motorcycle was another example.
yeah.
But also, I was wondering that scene in the store where the sheriff is, buying whatever, and at the counter, there's a cat
Not
on,
dead.
on the counter,
Not dead.
and the old guys are staring at this cat. Is that scripted, or was that just
No,
the
no.
cat was there and part of the story?
Yeah, we just walked in, and I said, Bruce, you mind if I shoot? He said, no problem. Yeah. Bruce, so Bruce, he owns that. Bruce is the guy behind the counter with the gun.
Yeah.
And so Bruce has run that store for a long time. It's out in the middle of nowhere. And my mother came into his store one day, and she saw him kind of limping around. And my mother's, she's practicing yoga, right? She says, Bruce, tell you 2 things, you practice some yoga and you use some fish oil and you're gonna limber that leg right up. And he pulled up his pant leg and he said, you know what, honey, ain't nothing gonna limber this up. A wooden leg. Yeah. Bruce is a great character.
That cat just lives on that counter?
Yeah, so somebody, I thought you were gonna ask if it was dead. Somebody thought the cat was dead. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh
I
my
was like,
God. That's cat's fine.
That's what cats do, they look dead.
Yeah. So maybe 1 or 2 more. Yes, Teddy.
Does the sheriff, was the sheriff, is he a professionally trained actor?
Oh, shut up, dude.
I'm being serious.
You don't know that guy?
I know Rob, but no,
Okay.
I'm wondering, has he
Yeah.
been trained as an actor though?
Okay. So Rob,
Really good.
actually, okay, I thought you were teasing me like you didn't know Rob. Okay, I know Rob's your homie. So Rob, I don't know if anyone knows who Lindsay Krause is. She's an Oscar-nominated actor. Used to be married to David Mamet. She has quite a pedigree, and I was friendly with her, and I asked her if she would sit down with Rob and if she could download her philosophy about acting. And I filmed it, and they spent about 90 minutes together at my place out in Tucson, pretty much on the set. And Rob had never been trained before, and that how I cast him is a little bit of, well, I'll tell you that story first, basically. So, I'm trying to find this crusty redneck who, is my time up?
Yeah.
Okay, can I have 2 minutes?
3.
3? Okay, thank you. So I'm trying to find this crusty redneck who by the end of the movie understands like ultimate reality, and I'm auditioning people, and no one quite do I see making that transition. And after 6 months, 9 months of casting, finally I realized, oh my God, everybody I see, I'm comparing them to Rob in my mind unconsciously, and none of them are matching Rob. That's so stupid. Let me just hire Rob, right? So I put him with Lindsay Krause, and he'd never acted in his life. I think he did some modeling as a child, which is very different. And then when he got on the set, like the sergeant, Michael Tay, who plays the drunk. He's classically trained. He's been in tons of movies. He's he goes out. He auditions for big stuff all the time. Rob came in with so much confidence and so cocky from his 90 minutes with Lindsay Krause that Michael Tay was intimidated. It was Michael. I hope you take this in the way I mean it, but you could see Rob was so on it. He felt so good about himself and what he knew about acting from Lindsay Krause, who's really a master. She no bones downloaded what she thought to him, and I think it shows. I think he did a fantastic job. The performances I think are amazing. And this is my first feature directing. I thought I was going to be very micromanaging, and really I just turned the camera on, step back. I think that everyone did a great job. So, I guess that's it. So,
Good job.
thank you. I just want to thank you all for coming. A lot of you here, helped a lot with this picture and supported me, behind the scenes and in front of the scenes. I just want to say thank you. We're going to go to Cafe Roma, which is on Cannon, and have some drinks now and just relax and chat. And I think you guys are all welcome to come. I think we'll all fit if you want to come. And if you don't, I'll see you down the road. Okay? Thank you.